if you look at all the work it does well across the world, the one thing they do is they aim it straight at the brief. They don't talk around it. They hit it smack on. And I think it's very important to focus on that. Let's pull that out. Cool. So, so don't talk around it, and try and get to. I think some of the problem we have is our own fault, and some of it's clients, in that we need to distill the briefs into their simplest form to get to the point we want to make on the brief. So sometimes, if it doesn't make sense properly, it might be a strategic thing, or it might be a brief thing, or it might just be the creative expression we're using. So I think always try and find the simplest, most obvious form of explaining the idea. So one example I'm going to show you. So in Australia, Metro Rail, obviously the rail network in Australia, they wanted to do an awareness campaign which is about promoting road safety on the rails to prevent death. And the agency that worked on it came up with this really straightforward idea: dumb ways to die. Because it's all about people dying on the rail network. Don't die in a dumb way, which is playing silly buggers around the rail. But what they did do is they made really interesting content. So they answered the brief perfectly bang on, very obvious, very straight to the point. But what they did do is they had really interesting content. So I don't know have you guys seen the TV ad? They created, it was a whole integrated campaign. So first they created the song, which is called Dumb Ways to Die, which had these funny little characters, and they all die in really dumb ways. And the end point is, don't play around near the railway, because that's also a dumb way to die. So, this print says, let's get a little closer there. Get your toast out with a fork. Do your own electrical work. Keep a rattlesnake as a pet. Skate the platform edge on a bet. Be safe around trains. So they created tons of these characters that were part of the campaign, and it was the most unexpected piece of content you would see for a railway network. Normally you would see the poor guy who's kind of been knocked over, or you'd see a picture of a train and would say, be careful around trains. It's generally the most boring content. But what this did do is it completely flipped the whole category on its head. It went for interesting, engaging, pretty nuts, but it did a massive job. It ended up doing a better job globally than just for Australia. So, everyone kind of around the world started seeing the stuff, and it kind of raised the point.
My kid in Brazil loved the game.
There we go. Yeah, they had the game as well, yeah. So, simplicity, it works really well. And the result, it won 5 Grand Prix, 18 gold lions, 3 silver lions, 2 bronze lions, 1 campaign. Simplicity. Number 2, a great insight or human truth. I think naturally we resonate to stuff that relates to us, stuff that relates into our lives, stuff that's in the news, stuff that kind of captures the zeitgeist of what's happening in the year. So whether it's a social media thing that's just launched or whatever, you jump onto that and suddenly it speaks to you because it's a natural thing that you kind of understand already. So this is a company in Singapore. It's called Crisis Relief. So they jumped onto the social media bandwagon. So everybody on social media is liking stuff, support this thing, that thing's cool, but generally it doesn't really do anything physical to fix a problem. So they jumped onto that. They found these fantastic editorial images that showed all these hardships in various areas of the world, with the line, liking isn't helping. And just simple contact on how to get hold of them and how to donate. But really powerful and simple human truth. And there's a whole campaign. Really powerful imagery. Another simple one. A dog makes your life happier, adopt. No dog, with dog, happy. It's sometimes you look at advertising, you're like, wow, that is so obvious, but it's just so great. You like think, why didn't I do that? Sometimes the obvious choice is the right one because it's the obvious choice. It's just how you adapt it into the advertising space. There's a whole campaign on that. So here's another one. So everyone knows this, this obvious picture. So when you're at school, primary school, high school, you have your class photo. You have the little board that has your year in. So this is a campaign they did for UNICEF in Chile with the line, a child who learns is an adult who teaches. So it's all about if you learn from the wrong role model, you start taking up their bad habits. Very simple, very engaging. Great human truth. Who knows what brands this is for? Boom. No logo, just the brand colors. You pick it up immediately. So that means, so this is obviously the power of simple branding. You know, it's so obvious. They've been around for 100 years. They don't even need a logo now. As long as you see the positive, negative, you know, boom, Duracell. So this was quite a little fun campaign. So obviously, batteries for some people are really good, sometimes not so good. So if you're a gamer, it'd be awesome for you, not for your mom because you won't spend any time with your mom. So positive side, your son's beloved handheld console will always be his gaming buddy. Cool for him. Then for the mom, that Satan spawn of a console is taking away your son and replacing him with a grunting, lurching zombie. This one, your iPod dock will entertain your family all through the 3-day camping trip. Death by bear mauling is preferable to a 3-day Justin Bieber songathon. Ain't that the truth? Another simple one. Literacy, obviously a big problem around the world. For someone who's illiterate, they would read this or see this ad and just think it's another cosmetic ad without even knowing that the ad itself is about illiteracy. So unfortunately, 3 million people in France will keep on thinking that this is an advertisement. Help us make illiteracy the national cause of 2013. It's smart. Jumped on the great print ad, jumped on the average thing you see in a magazine, and then you point out an illiteracy problem. It's really smart, really interesting, and simple. Here's another one for holiday. Right, next one. Craft is king. Making your ads look amazing in any way possible. And there are obviously various ways. You can make it really simply crafted, which is elegant and beautiful, or you could make it really detailed. There's no specific way that you have to craft an ad other than to just make it beautiful. So amazing. Beautifully painted images for audiobooks. You know, you can kind of see William Shakespeare whispering in your ear straight away. Fantastic craft. Or you could go for something that's very, very simple, but also fantastically crafted. This was a campaign for the lotto, for the lottery. It's all the things you'd think about if you won the lottery. So if tomatoes are a fruit, wouldn't ketchup technically be a smoothie? Yeah, all the ridiculous things you'd think about if you had all the money in the world. But just fantastic craft, but also very simple craft. So, you know, this is something you could do in-house in an agency. You could do it yourself. But it's just beautiful, simple, elegant, and wouldn't cost a lot. But it's still a fantastic craft piece. So why do people say tuna fish when they when they don't say chicken bird? Or here's another one. It's a campaign in India for the Times of India. It's quite a sad campaign. They went through a big drought in India, and a couple of farmers hung themselves because they were so desperate they had no means of making income. So to make money for the families, they created these art pieces, which are beautifully crafted, and they had a gallery set up, and you could buy the pieces, and the money went to the families who'd lost their loved ones. But if you look closely, they used, it's like wheat or straw or something, talks directly to farming in India. Just beautiful. Harvey Nichols. So, I mean, they've kind of based their last 10 years of advertising on one idea, which is the Harvey Nichols sale, and that whoever it is, you'll fight it out for that piece of clothing no matter what. If you want those pair of shoes, ain't nobody going to stop you getting those pair of shoes. So obviously it's the last fish left, and the best pelican will get the fish. But if you look at just how fantastically this is crafted, obviously this is a long time in crafting. Craft can also be just beautiful photography. So, I mean, often on Standard Bank jobs, we use photography as our main medium. But you suddenly use beautiful photography, and your ad is 50% better. Just by beautifully considered photography. Cool. Don't be afraid to stand out. It's a good thing. There's so much clutter out there. It's becoming an imperative to stand out. So I found this little stat. So the sum of media asked for delivered to consumers on mobile devices in their homes would take more than 15 hours a day to see or hear. That volume is equal to 6.9 million gigabytes of information, or a daily consumption of 9 DVDs worth of data per day, per person per day. That is astounding. That's how much media is hitting you every day on a daily basis, and it's hard to kind of break through the clutter with that kind of assault of media. So you have to. You've got to stand out if you want to survive. So this might be not so relevant for a Standard Bank ad, but Road Lodge is one of our clients. They're a one-star hotel. There's nothing too glamorous about a one-star hotel, so have fun with your star. Use it where it's needed most. Ooh. Arresting visuals help you stand out. Simple idea. Speak like a native. So Berlitz is obviously a company that teaches you to speak any language you want. Suddenly this dude speaking Mandarin Chinese through Berlitz. I mean, it's hard not to notice something like that. You saw that in a magazine. You definitely stop and have a look. What is it? What does it mean? Like, need to know more. What's it? Very straightforward idea, but really stand out. Leave your morning mood behind. Everyone knows that feeling before you have your cup of coffee in the morning. Or when that damn printer swallows your prints you got a meeting in 5 minutes, and you want to hit the roof. You can stand out in slightly more subtle ways. Maybe it sounds like an oxymoron, but this is very simple. Ad for Jeep, and so you can go anywhere in a Jeep. So you can see giraffes, flip the magazine around, same ad, penguins. So you can see elephants or swans. So you don't have to always shout like crazy to stand out. You can stand out in different ways. A lot of clients won't let you be crazy, but you can stand out in other ways to make your work speak volumes. So this thing is it's always looking for that loophole with your client. How does your client work? How do they think? What's their kind of normal way of communicating, and finding the loopholes within there? There are always loopholes. I mean, advertising is an industry based on finding a loophole. It's one of the few. So innovate, don't imitate. If you want your work to be iconic, it has to be unique. It has to stand out. It can't look like an ad you've seen at Cannes, because that's already done. You've got to find something new. So everything you've seen, throw it away, start again, think again, and go again.